What do you do when it pops off right in your vicinity as an armed self-defender? Today, we're going to get to think about it. Hi everyone, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host, John Correa. Today's video comes to us out of Kansas City, and the person in the car, our defender here, was actually last week's guest on the ASP Unlimited podcast. The ASP podcast. I have put a link in the description to that episode. Make sure that you listen to it to get his perspective on this whole thing. Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video. So our defender and his wife are delivering DoorDash, a booze order, in Kansas City after midnight. You can see that here, and the street's like really blocked. They can't find a place to park, so they pull into this driveway, and they get blocked in from behind. Another guy rolls up behind and he stops to talk to some people, getting around the party. And that goes on for quite some time. Again, he sent me these videos, okay? So let's listen in and hear what happens from that perspective as you see him kind of backing out here and these people coming back and forth. Let's listen in.
All the hot Cheetos and the cards.
Park right here.
When Desmond thinks about backing up, he just doesn't have any real confidence that he can back up in this tight of environment, so he's going to go forward again. Let's continue to listen.
Ay, Dave, cuidado. Ay, Dios mío. Ay, mi amor, cuidado. Cuidado, hay mucho.
This road he chooses to drive up ends up being a dead end. No harm, no foul there, though, because they were out of the danger zone by this point. He's going to turn around eventually, come back down, and get out of there. There weren't really any news stories to find on this one, but please go listen to Desmond on the ASP podcast and make sure that you get that information from him, too. Our mission with the ASP podcast is to let people who have been in real defensive encounters share their story so we get to hear it from a first-person perspective. So if you have been in one that we can verify with a news story, something like that, and especially if it was caught on video, please email us, email Mike at activeselfprotection.com, and let's get you on there to help other people prepare themselves to defend themselves if ever they need to. Hey, listen, plenty of people are making spare money on delivery services or even their primary income, working DoorDash or Uber Eats or those things. And I'm not going to knock them for that. Just recognize that, you're out past midnight, you're delivering booze to a house party full of stupid people. You're breaking lots of rules of stupid. Remember the rules of stupid. Don't go stupid places at stupid times with stupid people and do stupid things. You can usually get away with one, but more than one starts to increase the odds that problems are going to come your way. And, some people are like, well, John, you can't keep me in my home. I'm not trying to keep you in your home. I'm trying to tell you there are dangers here. And when you start breaking all these rules, you increase your chances of problems happening. So think about it and think accordingly, especially because Desmond's got his wife along here, right? So now, again, they're going to pull out and finally, try to find a way. Okay, we're just going to, try to find a spot to park here and get this delivery done and get the heck out of there. And go listen to the podcast. The delivery they had before this was a heck of a doozy too. So they'd already had a heck of a night here. And then when the shots start breaking, you're going to see here, again, they're going to start backing out of there and trying to get away, but he's going to struggle with that. This is where having an evasive driving course can be very helpful for you. Not defensive driving. Defensive driving teaches you to avoid wrecks and have enough space in front of you. An evasive driving course can teach you to drive your car in reverse with some speed as part of the curriculum. It can teach you how to get out of an area quickly and when you can use curbs as suggestions if you have some ground clearance, things like that. So an evasive driving class can be a very useful tool. And, especially if you've taken several handgun training classes, you've taken your medical classes, your legal use of force classes, an evasive driving class can be a very helpful tool because it'll let him back up here and just get out of there by continuing on in reverse until he can get out of there. But he didn't feel confident doing that. So I think having those skills would be very, very helpful. Now you see all these people flowing out. I think that's smart. Okay, shots are breaking. Let's get out of the danger zone. Those people are very smart. But again, Desmond's trying to figure out, oh no, what am I doing? And this is where most of our time is spent in the decision process, right? We've observed what's going on. We've oriented to the problem. Now we got to decide what we're going to do. He thinks about backing up again. And now he decides, oh, okay, I'm going to use that Mercedes as cover and use him as, a bullet sponge in order to get behind him to get out of whatever comes my way. That's probably a pretty good decision. Now, I want to think here too, I just cannot understand all of these bystanders, all these people that are at this party. And you see these folks, they're just walking down the street with shots popping off all around them. They're just kind of chilling. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. All the other folks that are flowing out of there, getting away, getting behind cars, getting behind cover, that's smart. These people here, it's just dumb as a box of rocks, with apologies to every boxes of rocks that I've ever seen. And you gotta think more than this, right? You gotta think, man, it is time for me to get the heck out of this spot and be able to move. And I get it. And same thing here with Desmond, with our defender, man. It's time for me to get out of here. And he is doing that. But of course, you can't just run over bystanders doing that either, because you'd be guilty of a crime yourself. So learning when you can and when you can't, and having those driving skills. Now, also, Desmond has a firearm on him here. If you go listen to the podcast, he had a gun on him. He just never thought of using it. And that was the right answer. When you're in the driver's seat, drive. Use the car. The car is the best solution. Not the gun on your hip, not the gun in your appendix. Go and use the car. And he did that excellently. And I think that was a really good solution here. Now he's going to get out of the area and end up in, this area where it's a dead end. And so he's going to get out of there. I think he could have just parked at the end of this and just waited there 5-10 minutes. And that would have let everybody who was a problem get out of the way and would have been perfectly fine as well. Finally, I want to say in this one, I know some people are going to be like, man, John, we didn't even really see anything. We heard some gunshots, but we didn't really see anything here. So why are we showing this on the Active Self-Protection channel? Because this is an excellent defensive lesson, friends. This is the kind of thing I want you to think about in advance, because, hey, wait a minute, I could have avoided making a delivery of booze to a house party and not had this problem to begin with. That would have been great. When I see it, if I had some evasive driving skills, I could have gotten out of here a whole lot faster. That would have been a good idea. Okay, fine. Then I got to continue to make good decisions and not use the gun that's on my hip, or think about getting out of the car and engaging in an optional gunfight when using the car is the right answer here. So these are all great lessons, and this is a very good defensive encounter that gives us all a mental rep that could very well happen. I mean, this could be in our neighborhood. We could be driving through this just to get somewhere else. These are the kinds of things that I want us all to be thinking about, so that we have a mental map in place, so that we are ready, like Desmond was, to cover our asp.